KSL News starts now.
I heard a big crash, so I went to the back, and the rock wall had completely fallen.
I'm not sure exactly where we're going to go.
A community literally on edge after severe weather. Homes in a Davis County neighborhood are in danger of sliding down a hill.
Also, a wild scene on I-15 under investigation this morning. We'll tell you what led up to this fiery crash.
And if you're traveling in the next few months, you may want to think twice before bringing along your iPad. New rules just announced by the TSA.
But first, on this Thursday morning, welcome in. Many around the valley are cleaning up after that big rainstorm brought on flash flooding, not just here in Salt Lake, but we saw it in other locations, Dan, around the Salt Lake Valley.
Yeah, we got exclusive pictures here from Chopper 5. You see the water. That water gone today, or are we going to see more?
Yeah, we should be. I mean, the flooding yesterday kind of subsided fairly quickly. It just got overwhelmed, with our system. But things today not looking that bad. In fact, most of the state dry at the moment. 74 in St. George, 76 in Hurricane, but the rest of central and southern Utah, 60s or even mid-50s. So some cool spots can be found on the map. Notice there's a little bit of shower activity over by Ely. We'll address that in just a moment. But Wasatch Front, clear skies as well. Mid and lower 60s. So a cooler start. You can see the cloud cover and some scattered showers over by Wendover. That's trying to head our direction. We'll go ahead and zoom things out a little bit. And it's actually this area right here. We'll see the showers continue to fill in over the West Desert and the Box Elder County, but that's going to be about the extent of showers this morning, but there will be some showers back this afternoon. We'll talk about all that coming up after we get a check of the roads with Andy Farnsworth.
Good morning. Just one crash affecting drivers, and it's not that big a deal. Take a look here on northbound 15, just before you get to the 6 South exit in downtown Salt Lake, a crash over to the right, but it's right as you come around that curve, so if you're in that right lane, don't get caught by surprise. Of course, today we're going to test and see how day 2 goes with the 9th South exit ramp closed for reconstruction in downtown. Yesterday, it created a huge nightmare. We'll see if today goes any better. Here's a live look at I-15 in Davis County. Remember, last night, this was the portion that was affected by the plane crash, but everything is open and is moving just fine in both directions through Davis County.
All right, thank you, Andy, for that. This morning, happening right now, homeowners in Fruit Heights are hoping for a better morning. This time yesterday, floodwater caused a retaining wall to collapse. Now those homeowners fear that their houses may slide as well.
I heard a big crash, so I went to the back, and the rock wall had completely fallen.
I'm not sure exactly where we're going to go.
You can see him, they're moving out. This is actually the second section of the wall to collapse in just the last 10 months. 2 houses up, another piece of that wall crumbled in October. That homeowner is suing the city and the home builder.
In some research, I've discovered that this wall was never properly built. The city has taken the position that it's too late to sue them and that they're not responsible.
Now, the city manager says he is working with insurance and engineers to determine the cause and what the city can do.
6:02 right now, and this morning investigators are still trying to figure out the cause of a fiery crash right here on I-15 that closed northbound lanes there for some time. You see the flames here right in between these 2 cars. It happened yesterday right at 2100 South, right there at the Spaghetti Bowl. At one point, the 2 cars were engulfed in flames after one of the cars crashed into the other. Thankfully, no injuries to report there. Also in Wellsville, a police chase turns deadly after Highway Patrol says they tried performing a traffic stop. That's when the suspect sped off, but officers could catch up and the suspect went into oncoming traffic, hitting a semi head-on. That driver died at the scene. You see the remnants of the truck there. Logan police will now be working with Highway Patrol to handle the rest of that investigation.
This morning, President Trump now calling for a Utah man's release from a Venezuelan prison along with his wife while discussing sanctions against the country. The president says he's concerned about Josh Holt's situation. The 25-year-old was arrested back in June of 2016 after traveling to Venezuela to marry his now wife. They met online when Holt wanted to improve his Spanish after returning from an LDS mission. Now, Senator Orrin Hatch has gotten involved. He released this statement saying he's grateful to have an ally in the president who has continued the calls for Holt's immediate release on humanitarian grounds. And in Venezuela this morning, thousands are rallying against President Maduro in a 2-day strike. And now the United States is joining them. The U.S. Treasury Department announced it's slapping sanctions against 13 Venezuelan government officials. Those sanctions increase the pressure on Maduro to scrap plans for a controversial new Congress. But he's vowed to push ahead anyway with Sunday's vote, for an assembly to rewrite the country's constitution.
Now to rising tensions between the U.S. and North Korea amid concerns that Kim Jong-un's regime could launch another missile test as soon as this week. Also alarming, rumors that the North could develop a nuclear-capable missile by next year, 2 years sooner than previously thought. In Alaska, the U.S. is now testing missile defense systems, while Hawaii is planning for nuclear drills.
What's unimaginable to me is allowing a capability that will allow a nuclear weapon to land in Denver, Colorado. My job will be to develop military options to make sure that doesn't happen.
Right now, the White House and State Department remain at odds over several key policy issues regarding North Korea.
Breaking overnight, hundreds of Palestinians take to the streets to celebrate at the entrance to a contested holy site in Jerusalem. And here's why. The area has been the scene of Muslim prayer and protests in opposition to Israel's stepping up security in that area. Now, crowds cheered after workers removed metal detectors and railings installed for security in the wake of recent killings of 2 Israeli police officers.
6:05 right now in politics this morning after failing to pass a repeal of the Affordable Care Act. Today, Senate Republicans will vote on a series of amendments on individual health care reform measures. If passed, they would likely be grouped together into a bill known as a skinny repeal. Senate leaders think the end product will likely include a repeal of the tax on medical devices, and GOP leaders hope it will also include a repeal of the mandates that require individuals and employers to purchase insurance. Now, President Trump taking to Twitter once again, this time to abruptly announce a shocking reversal in military policy. In just 3 tweets saying transgender people will no longer be able to serve in the military. Joining us live, Tracy Potts. And Tracy, this snap decision blindsided Republicans, even Orrin Hatch yesterday saying that he stood with transgender people.
Right. A lot of Republicans saying that they think this is discriminatory. If you don't want to pay for their medical bills, fine, but to completely ban them from serving in any capacity, those are the words the president used, they don't think is fair. President Trump yet to comment on this. Neither has the Pentagon. The White House referred questions to them. The Pentagon referred questions back to the White House. What we don't know is how this policy will be rolled out and how quickly it will be rolled out. There are an estimated either 1,300 to 6,600 people in the military who are transgender, according to one study. Do they immediately lose their jobs? Do they come off the battlefield, out of stations around the country and around the world? Or is there some grace period? How is this going to be rolled out? It's something the military's been studying for a long time. In fact, the generals asked for an extension earlier this year of allowing transgender people into the military. But now it looks like the president has made a definitive statement about it without a lot of details about how it's going to happen. Lori?
Once again, making that statement on Twitter. Tracy Potts live on Capitol Hill for us. Tracy, thanks. Well, still ahead, she live-streamed a deadly crash that killed her 14-year-old sister. Now the case against an 18-year-old moves forward in court with some surprising details.
And new video of an Arizona water rescue of a 4-year-old boy. More of this dramatic video and how this boy managed to survive until help came.
And guys, we're going to be talking about a dry morning as compared to yesterday. We've got a little bit of light shower activity and some thunderstorms over Ely and south and west of Ely, as well as just north of Elko. And this is all going to kind of work its way over the West Desert, but should stay west of the Great Salt Lake throughout the morning hours. We'll get a couple of clouds today up into the 90s after a couple days in the 80s, but those scattered showers and thunderstorms will be back in the forecast for us. What that means for our afternoon and for our weekend coming up.